Yiddle-hee-hoo, and welcome to the Trapp Podcast, the podcast where two friends raise a glass and have a conversation. I'm Nick.
And I'm Kyle.
Kyle, occasionally we get an opportunity to talk to some really cool people.
Yeah, it's a privilege that we get to have here on the podcast.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's a privilege that we don't get to have as much as we'd like.
No, but when we can't exercise it, we do.
And today
is that day.
We're jazzercising our way into this conversation.
Full tie bow.
Ooh, Billy Banks. Everybody, welcome to the Trapp Podcast. Emily and Jack from Trapp Brewing. How are you guys?
Good. Thanks for having us.
Good. Thanks for having us, you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. We're humbled that you would actually take the time to talk with us because we can't gush over Trapp beer enough.
Yeah, we really can't. Like, we are absolute fanboys over here.
Like, I don't know if you guys can see the number of beer sales in Florida, but I'm pretty sure 75% of that is from Kyle and I.
At least.
That's awesome. Yeah, we actually, our number one best-selling beer in Florida is Dunkel. So how much of that was from y'all?
All of it. 100%. Like, I think that's what we originally fell in love with, was the Dunkel at the brewery. So yeah, that's not surprising at all.
Yeah, in fact, I went to a Rockin' Brews, and they had it as a guest tap. And I texted Kyle, and I was like, are you seeing what I'm seeing? He's like, how many glasses are you gonna drink there? I'm like, well, I don't know how big this cake is.
I feel like that's the first one I saw down here too. I started noticing the Dunkel first in our area.
Yeah, that makes sense. That we really did not expect that, honestly. At least I thought it was going to be a lighter beer that would catch Florida, but no, the darker beers.
Yeah, I think it's because down here we're so inundated with those kind of, hazy IPAs and lighter beers that when you got, first of all, a product that is as great as Trapp's Dunkel, and people catch on to that and they're like, okay, nope, this is what we want.
That's yeah. When I think about it now, even now of local breweries and things like that, like there's not very many dark Dunkel style beers that are like, that's what they're known for.
Yeah, a lot of, I don't know how much you guys know about the Florida beer scene, but a lot of it tends to be the IPAs and hazy IPAs. And I recognize that's popular everywhere, but that's huge in Florida.
Yeah.
So let's get into about your roles in Trapp. So Emily, we'll start with you. What do you do for Trapp Brewing?
Yeah, so I'm the marketing manager. They brought me on about a year and a half ago, really to facilitate our huge rebrand. If y'all saw that, we had a giant rebrand, the first since we started in 2015, since we rebranded from a slightly different logo in 2010. Yeah, so they brought me on to do this big rebrand. We completely switched up our logo, all of our can designs, and we also launched in new markets. So Florida, Tennessee, Michigan, Colorado, Oregon, Pittsburgh. So all of that happened at once, and they brought me on to get the word out and spread the whole rebrand. And now I do all of the creative, so the website work, social, interviews like this, everything that's marketing or digital and print asset related, I handle.
Fantastic.
And Jack, what do you do?
I'm the quality manager here. I've been here for about 4.5 years, so it's everything from running day-to-day in the lab, then to doing big picture recipe development, R&D, education for our sales team and front of house staff, fun things like line cleaning and all the dirty stuff that you don't see that goes into the beer. But kind of like head to toe, big picture, just keeping the puzzle together.
Is Jack the head bottle washer or the head sample manager?
I think a little bit of both, it sounds like.
There is some sampling. It's not always good. I won't lie.
It's always the joke, quality management. That's the dream job.
Sure.
Exactly.
Except, like Jack just mentioned, I also know that you've got to taste some pretty bad things.
Yeah, for sure.
Our Trapp experience, we visited the brewery in what year? It's on the mug.
2021.
2021. You want to put that?
Oh, yeah, the Oktoberfest?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
nice.
We knew very little of Trapp in 2021. Went to the Oktoberfest, and it was incredible.
Yeah, that was more or less the whole way we got introduced. Is we were looking for an Oktoberfest while we were in Stowe, searching for things to do. Found the tickets for that one and immediately got them, and then went. And honestly, we weren't expecting anything specific, but when we got there and we tried everything, absolutely was blown away by it and immediately started, just crushing really hard on Von Trapp. Anything Von Trapp.
Yeah. And I think what I was impressed with first, and then now since you guys have started canning and now obviously you're distributing to Florida, is the styles that you guys are choosing to do and how very true to style those are. And I recognize from a brewery standpoint how difficult that is, and to get it right and to get it right consistently. And that's something that I noticed when we were there. And I'm sure you Jack, you can speak to this later, but there's probably a little bit of spin you guys put on some things, but it just seems like, here's a Czech Pils and wow, look at this. And it is just fantastic. Or here's the Vienna, or here's a Dunkel. And it just crushes every single time.
Yeah, we definitely specialize in those Austrian, European inspired beers. And our whole thing is a little bit of Austria, a lot of Vermont. So putting our Vermont spin on those classic beers, but really staying true to their historical recipes. And I know Jack can speak more on that.
Speaking of that, should we try some beer before we get into some meatier conversation topics?
Maybe we should. Maybe that'd be a good lubricant to get the conversation going.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Jack. So what beer should we try first?
So we're going to try the Czech Style Pale Lager, and this is the first in our Pilsner pack. This is a new variety pack we're rolling out this year for the very first time. We wanted to showcase all the beautiful subtleties and nuances of the Pilsner and Pilsner-related beer styles. So we're taking this one first. It's 4.5%. And this is kind of our very traditional ode to Czech Style Pale Lagers. You've had our Bohemian Pilsner before. That's kind of our flagship. This one is a more traditional one, something like you'd find in Czechia or the Czech Republic. And the inspiration for this was actually a beer that we brewed with Human Robot out of Philadelphia a couple years ago.
Oh, cool, yeah.
So double decocted, all Czech malts, Czech Budvar yeast, Saaz hops, Slodek, and Kazbek hops. And again, what we're going for is slightly unfiltered, so you have a little bit of that mouthfeel. 4.5%, easy drinking. And I remember in your last episode when you were talking about Pilsner, you were saying that it's a beer that tastes like beer. I'd say even more so, this is a beer that tastes like beer, and there's nothing wrong with it.
I love everything you just said, just of this is beer.
Yeah. That's become quite a go-to for us. I just want a beer that tastes like beer.
Right.
Absolutely. And if you spend time in the Czech Republic, there's nothing too flashy or too fancy. It's just the highest beer drinking per capita country in the world, and this is what they're drinking, and they're not nerding out about it. They're just having a good time. It's part of life, and it goes down easy. It's delicious.
Yeah, that's absolutely delightful.
It truly is. It's everything you want and nothing you don't.
There you go.
Yeah, what's really cool about it too is that I can see this pairs, or would probably pair really well with a bunch of different foods. I don't know if you guys have done any sort of experimentation with that at the brewery or in the lodge or anything of pairing the beers with foods. Have you guys done any of that?
Yeah, we've done a few beer dinners, and then we have recommended pairings at the beer hall. And so, yeah, anywhere where we have Helles, I feel like this Czech Pale Lager, that would definitely fit that same kind of profile.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Especially someone who drinks craft beer. And I don't know if you guys have had this experience, but there's a lot of, I want the high ABV, or I want heavy hazy beer. I want a high IPA, or I want, this big, bold stout. But I think this is harder to pull off well.
Yeah, we've been saying that for a long time about, these more simplified beers where you're really highlighting ingredients and things like that. When you're doing those well, it gives you so much more confidence in the brewery itself to, trust whatever you're going to do. And that's absolutely fantastic.
Jack, you mentioned R&D. What kind of R&D went into this the Czech Style Pale Lager?
Yeah, so we don't have a true R&D program. We just kind of go for it with full-size batches. So we're knocking out 200-barrel batches at a time. That's our R&D. So yeah, when we were conceiving of this beer, we thought about our experiences with that first human-robot collab, and yeah, it was fairly similar. That was 5%. We wanted to tone it down a little further. We liked the yeast character from the Budvar. We liked the Raven malt we were getting from the Czech Republic, and just refined it a little and just went for it.
Do you think our water had anything to do with the taste of that beer?
That's the segue to it all. Yeah, I think our water just plays so well into this, and if you've heard it or heard us say it, like our water profile is very similar to that of Pilsen in the Czech Republic, and it just like allows for everything to kind of like shine and speak. So yeah, all that soft malt, all the delicate hops, all the soft yeast, it all just like works together.
Where is your water source?
It's from a artesian spring well up on their property, kind of behind the lodge. So it just runs naturally down into the brewery. We don't filter it, we don't treat it, we just brew with it as is, and yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm sure that location's got to be such a handicap for you guys. such a rough place to be, I'm sure.
Yeah. Our founder, Johannes, found that spring on a map from like 1887, a little blue dot, and he hiked up and found the spring.
Very cool.
So yeah, that spring feeds the brewery, it feeds the hotel, and it feeds our snowmaking machines that are also on the hotel property.
Oh, incredible.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's funny that you bring up the water, because that's something that I, recognized as soon as we landed in Vermont. Like, the water is just so different.
Yeah.
Did the little places that we ran around Vermont, obviously in Stowe and into Burlington, at least in terms of our water profile down here, it's just completely, like, the water has a sweet quality. I don't really know how to like define that, but it's completely different.
Well, no, it's that nerdy thing that we always talk about. Like, regardless if it's beer or whiskey, like we love the Nick always says the terroir.
Terroir.
There it is.
Terroir.
Just always like when you can really say that, like, yeah, this is the way that it is because it was made here, and it's the land, and it's the everything about this location that makes this taste individually like it does is so much fun. And like it's so cool to hear stuff like that.
Kyle, you think we should move on to our next beer?
Yeah, I can't wait.
I can't either. Jack, what do we have next on our list?
This is going to be our Bavarian Style Pils. So we've actually brewed this a few times in the past. Been our seasonal for the kind of spring season. Yeah, this is really a big differentiation from our Bohemian Pils. This is, again, a Bavarian Style Pils. So what you drink when you go to Munich, Franconia, 5%, 35 IBU. Just a really fun showcase of our, nice Pilsner malt, Hallertau middle fruit hops, and that's really about it. It's dry, floral, aromatic, has a nice soft honey malt character, and yeah, when we were conceiving of this beer, we were thinking of beers like Eyinger Pils, Rathaus Tannenzapfel, just like those delicious, beautiful, German style Pils, and that's what we're going for.
Beautiful aroma on it.
Going for it and crushing it. What I really love about these styles and the the Pils styles, the pale lager style, is that you can get so much variation in a beer style that it seems so simple. Like here's this, it's beer, like we said earlier, and yet within that there's so much variation.
For sure, and that's what we're kind of trying to explore with this whole Pilsner Pack idea. Give somebody 4 yellow beers, and there's a world of difference between them. So, yeah, we're really trying to open people's eyes to that.
Yeah, and I mean, for me, I feel like such a kind of pillar of Von Trapp is like how well balanced all of your beers are. Everything just kind of has like such a harmony to all the ingredients and the flavor profile. That's and everything. Good. Nothing really spikes, and there's not too much. I just can't think of any beer that's like it's just not so well rounded and so well balanced out.
Yeah, this
is right there.
I love the nose. Like I keep coming back to the nose, especially Jack. You said bright and floral. Like, oh man, it's pretty. We'd love to know about the kind of the brewing philosophies, and I don't know, Jack or Emily, who'd like to take this one. But it's obviously it's no secret that we love Von Trapp. We've already talked a lot about it. But what are the brewing philosophies as a whole?
I think for us, we're guided by simplicity and tradition. And I don't want that to sound as like a catchphrase because we actually live it every day. There are so many different like ingredients, enzymes, additives, all these different things you can add to your beer to speed up fermentation or give your yeast a boost or do this and that. But we feel like we don't need that. We just respect our ingredients. We get good ingredients to start out with, water being the first one, super nice German barley, and then just classic noble hops, and we tried to do them justice. And I think along with that simplicity, it's just paying attention. We have a really awesome staff that is just hardworking day in and day out. A lot of my work is just boring rote lab work, but it's the stuff that at the end, it's all those little things that add up in the puzzle that counts, and it makes these soft, delicate lagers, just enjoyable, and they don't have you scratching your head, wondering what off flavors are going on. And yeah, it's just we're paying attention and letting the beer speak.
Do you find, I don't know if you have worked in other breweries in the past, but do you find that the simplicity is the not so simple thing?
Absolutely. Like if you look at my spreadsheets and the post-it notes, it looks like I'm a madman in here, just paying attention to 100 different things in every different batch and working with the brew team, just making sure we're hitting specs and parameters. And again, that's also the beauty of lagers, or the not beauty of lagers, is that when those little faults start to come through, they are so easy to perceive. And when they don't, in this pale yellow lager, that's when it's kind of magic. Like you're just tasting beer and nothing else. And you know that it's good fermentation, good water, good ingredients. And yeah, that's like, for me, what I look for in a brewery when I'm checking out other spots. Do they have those faults? Are they clean, etc.?
So you probably do what we do and go to a brewery and like, okay, let's get beer. And then is that the case? Is that for you, like, this is a starting point? If they can do a solid Czech Pils, I trust what they're going to do.
Yeah, totally. I'm always on the lookout for lagers, and yeah, very, very impressed when people knock it out of the park. And yeah, to me, that's a great sign of, a quality brew system.
And you're so lucky just to be in the area that you are, where there's so many great breweries around doing incredible stuff anyway. That's it's probably easy to find inspiration in your neck of the woods.
Yeah, that certainly helps too.
Yeah. Do you find that there's a great brewing community in Vermont?
Yeah, we're all pretty tight, and it's kind of cool. Everyone's doing their own thing. Lots of hazies out there, but people kind of let us do our lager thing, and then yeah, other folks are taking on their own interests. But yeah, we're all sharing ingredients, sharing stories. We're doing some more local collaborations, which Emily can speak to. But yeah, Vermont's pretty small knit. It's great.
Yeah, and the owner of The Alchemist actually a few times has reached out to the Von Trapps and been like, I'll trade you some heady topper for some Helles, because he wants something a little lighter and we want some heady topper. And Lawson's out, who's in our neck of the woods as well. They've run out of their Pilsner before and put us on tap. So yeah, it's a really tight community. We have a collaboration coming out with Burlington Beer Company this week, actually, and another collaboration with Zero Gravity coming out in a couple months. So yeah, it's a really cool community up here. Everyone's friends.
We did an episode with Stowe Cider.
Yeah.
And it was really interesting listening to him talk about like the community and like how they all kind of collaborate and discuss and work together to kind of like lift everybody up. It was pretty neat.
Yeah, Stowe Cider, that's who we have on tap at our beer hall for, gluten-free people or people who just want cider. They're awesome.
Yeah.
And back to what you were talking about with the brewing, values behind brewing. I think being in the Vermont area, we always think back to, the Sound of Music thing, and Johannes, who founded the brewery. He's the youngest son of Maria and George Von Trapp. He's an outdoorsman. He started the first outdoor cross-country ski center in the country at Trapp Family Lodge. And, up here, we all love to mountain bike. We love to ski. We have 2,600 acres of trails on our property and a disc golf course. Really, the whole idea for Johannes behind starting this brewery was to brew beer that he could drink while he was outdoors and adventuring. Like, he didn't want to hike a mountain and feel bogged down after. He wanted to feel refreshed and quenched. And so that's really the story behind why we started making beer, to make beer that reminded him of, his ancestral home of Austria, but also that he could drink and keep going. It's for the outdoorsman, this beer is.
That makes so much sense.
It really does. Like, I mean, we don't have mountains to hike down here. But after a day mowing
Splash
the
Mountain,
lawn,
Space Mountain. Come on, man. We got those mountain ranges.
Gross. Okay, fine, whatever. After a day at the beach or hanging out with friends by the pool, lakes are a big thing down here. I think that it works exactly what you just said. It works so well with that. I don't want something that's going to bog me down. I want something with a lot of flavor, and I want something that I could have a couple if I'd like. and I'm going to be no worse for the wear.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Johannes always says that he wants to have a beer at lunch and not fall asleep. So that's what these beers are for.
Fits the bill.
Yeah, Johannes was the one who actually tapped the keg where we were there.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Johannes is great. He's officially retired. He's been working all his life, so he's out on a ranch in New Mexico now, living his cowboy dreams. Yeah, but Sam and his daughter Christina and her husband Walter are taking up the reins and running the brewery and the lodge now.
Awesome. That's so cool. Kyle, should we have another beer?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. Jack, what do you recommend?
I think next we should go with our Bohemian Pilsner.
Bohemian Pils it is.
So this is going to be our kind of flagship Pilsner that you are more than familiar with.
And Helles was our first beer, but Pilsner is by far the best-selling beer across our line.
Why do you think that is?
I think Pilsner is just more of a household name than Helles. You know, when light beer drinkers want a quote-unquote Pilsner, they actually want a Helles. But, Pilsner is what we're known for. And, yeah, this recently won World Beer Cup Silver Medal, GABF Silver Medal in 2015. And, we're pretty stoked on this one. And this was kind of the anchor for the Pilsner pack that we're rolling out. So, again, to differentiate from the Bavarian, that was 5%. This is a huge jump up to 5.4%. You know, we're still in that realm of very drinkable beers. But yeah, for a kind of Czech Bohemian style Pilsner, this is kind of on the outskirts of styles. Like, it's a little more aromatic, it's a little more alcohol, it's a little bigger, just all around like a bolder beer. But I think, again, if you're looking for that like easy drinking Pilsner, it also fits that. So again, we love it. Saaz hops, good German malt, or our spring water.
So then for, our listeners that don't know much about the brewing side, you have the three beers that we've tried, and we're obviously going to try another one. So how does a brewer make the distinction between these beers? Is it just hops? Is it the type of malt being used? What creates those different kind of styles and beers within the styles?
Yeah, exactly. So like for the first one you tried, the Czech Pale Lager, what kind of distinguished that was actually we used Czech malts and it was decocted. So decoction is just a very nerdy traditional brewing process of separating a portion of the mash, boiling it. That kind of enhances foam body texture, color. We bring that back to the main mash, and we do that twice. So even for such a light, delicate beer, that's how we get some of kind of those like more subtle complexities in there. And then for our Bohemian Pilsner, what you're drinking, it's actually German malts, the same that we use in our Helles, but it is traditional Czech hops.
And what would be the push to make it a Helles?
Pilsner, or to make a Helles different?
Yeah.
Sure, yeah. That's just going to be a little less grain and German noble hops rather than, Czech hops.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I think that, like, as, we go and talk to people, we go to different breweries, like, that's always a question of, people can obviously distinguish a Dunkel style beer from a Pils style beer, but then when you get, as you mentioned earlier, 4 blonde beers or 4, light beers, how does someone create those variations within that? So I think it's always interesting to hear. It's a tweak here, it's a moving of this kind of malt, or now we're substituting this kind of hop for another hop.
Exactly. And like we try to stay pretty true to style. There's some breweries that like to kind of blur that line between Helles, Bavarian Pils, Czech Pils, which is fine. Those can all make delicious beers, but this is where we look to tradition just to kind of stay in line.
So this is the Pils pack. Like, this is the way to do it. Like, to have them all just kind of like lined up like this so that you can see those subtle nuance shifts and movements. It's such a cool thing.
Yeah, I agree completely, because I think that especially when you have the beers back to back, that's where you can they shine.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously by themselves they're fantastic, but having them in a tasting like this. Emily, what is the name of this pack, and when does it release?
The name of the pack is the Trapp Brewing Pilsner Pack, and it will start shipping on March 10th, so I would expect it to hit markets around the 3rd or 4th week of March.
Great. So wherever you can find Von Trapp, we can hopefully find the Pilsner pack. If we have listeners outside of the areas that you distribute, kind of the conventional ways, is there a way to get Von Trapp beer?
We don't do direct to consumer from the brewery, but some other kind of third party has taken our beer in, shipped it elsewhere.
But we have on our website where to find us link that people can plug in their zip code and see where we are near them.
Awesome. We'll put that in the show notes.
Yep.
Yeah. So we were talking about collaborations, and one of our favorite beers here in the Tampa St. Pete beer area is Barriehaus. And so I know that you guys just collaborated with them in terms of our recording a couple weeks ago, right?
Yeah, we were down there last month, right around Gasparilla time.
Oh boy. How'd that go? Did you experience any Gasparilla?
We did, yeah. It was quite a scene for us Vermonters to be surrounded by pirate ships and scantily clad glasses, and yeah, no, it was a fun time. It was the best way to experience Tampa Bay for my first time. And yeah, the Barriehaus team was great, showing us around, and yeah, it was such a fun collaboration. And I guess, yeah, to kind of give some background on it, so Tyler, our lead brewer, his good friend Kyle, he's actually doing the label design for Barriehaus, and he kind of hooked us up with Jim and Brittany, and so we just kind of reached out to them and said, like, hey, we really love your style of brewing. We love your philosophy. You're making similar beers to us. We're in Florida now, so let's spread the lager love. And they just said, awesome, come on down. Let's make a dry hop Keller beer. And, you know, that's how it kind of unfolded.
Yeah, I love the similarities between Von Trapp and Barriehaus in terms of this is what we're interested in. These are the kind of beers that we want to make. And you know, everyone, you mentioned this earlier, Jack, that, you know, the brewing community kind of looks at it and goes, yeah, we respect it. Do your thing. And I think that that's very similar with Barriehaus as well.
Yeah, we found a lot of that when we were down there tasting their beers, and they're not, you know, making fluff. They're not doing IPAs, huge, crazy stouts, any of that stuff. Like Jim's a very like no nonsense kind of guy, and I really appreciate that. And yeah, they're doing great stuff, and we're super happy for them.
Jack, unfortunately, our last beer, but that means we got one more beer to try, Kyle.
That's great.
What is our last beer?
We're going to be drinking West Coast Pils. Yeah, this is one beer that actually kind of has been an R&D process, and this is the first time it's getting to our full distribution. So 6% alcohol, 40 IBU, and this is our kind of nod to the just very light, pale, hoppy lagers that, you know, kind of came out in the LA West Coast scene in the last decade or so, and this is our take on it. So
yeah. I cracked it, and it's totally different.
Yeah.
Like, woo.
Totally different. So yeah, we brewed and dry hopped this with Citra, Idaho 7, and Columbus. So again, we're just looking for those like beautiful citrus, pine, pineapple kind of grassy notes. And, you know, we didn't want to go full juicy, hazy IPA fruit salad on this. We wanted it to be crisp and bitter, just with like enough to differentiate it with, you know, a lot of those Vermont hazies that are out there. And yeah, this is our answer to everyone that came into the beer hall looking for something hoppy that might have just come up the road from The Alchemist. So yeah, this is our reach out to that, and we're really stoked with this beer, and we find that it's been really well received by, you know, hopheads and IPA lovers. And yeah, this is about as far from a traditional Pils as you can get, but I think it still embraces that kind of philosophy of just like clean and light and pale and drinkable, just with a different hop twist on it.
And like, what an achievement to like, yeah, like we're still going to stick to our guns and do what we do, but we're still going to give you that essence that you're looking for. It's brilliant. That's so fun.
A little bit of the thumbing of the nose kind of thing. Like,
yeah, that's pretty good.
This is what you want, and we're going to give it to you because you asked for it, but we're going to do it, and we're going to do it better.
Yeah, do it our way.
Exactly.
That's freaking great.
I think I lost you there for a second. Is the base of this the Bohemian, and then you just added more hops or added Citra to it, or is it a completely different Pils base?
Pretty similar base. We just added a little more grist to get the alcohol up.
Okay.
Yeah, Pilsner malt is the base, and then yeah, again hops: Citra, Mosaic, Idaho 7, Columbus.
That's great.
The nose is fantastic. It's a little piney, a little dank, but nothing that's like, oh wait, you know, that's going to be too much.
Just a suggestion, but it's got such a great like finish that stays with your palate.
Yeah,
great.
That unctuous kind of salivary thing.
Yeah.
And then the beer's light. It's still like it checks all those boxes, but the beer is still light. Like that is amazing to me. Because, you know, like Jack, you said this earlier, when you get that fruit, I love that fruit salad. I've never thought about that. It's totally what it is though. When you get that fruit salad, a lot of it just becomes heavy and like, God, do I want something that's, you know, 7.5, you know, and it's just this monster heavy of a beer. And this has all those same notes, but it's drinkable. It's crushable. It's something that you can have.
It's still light.
It's still light.
It's
absolutely.
not. It doesn't have that viscous like mouth quality. This is so much more refreshing. I think.
I agree.
Really good.
So obviously we're super excited that Von Trapp has made it down to Florida, but Emily, can you talk a little bit about like what was the spark that kind of pushed you guys to want to branch out of Vermont as a whole?
Yeah, I mean, so other than we just wanted to be in more markets, we wanted to grow our footprint and share our beer with, industry that's really craving lighter beers at this time. I think that's what I'm seeing on my end with sales and marketing. We also have so many fans, fans of the Sound of Music, fans of the Lodge, who are from all over the country, who come to us and have just been begging us to be in newer markets. And so we've been listening to our consumers who are, super fans of the Von Trapp family, and just bringing our beer to them instead of them having to, only experience it when they come up to stay with us once a year or once every couple of years. We wanted to share our beer with the communities that have loved our brand for 75 years.
And I'm sure you don't hear it enough, but I absolutely love the rebranding. Like I love the style of the cans. I love the color. The logo's fantastic. Like,
Thanks.
I mean, this was essentially more or less like was this the original concept on branding? Was the more traditional, like the ram head?
That's an ibex,
Ibex.
which is a goat. Yeah, that was our original logo, and that's sort of the modernized take we did in the new branding.
Yeah,
So
love
that ibex head. Yeah, our designer, Ryan Tebow, he was actually the creative director over at Collective Arts Brewing. So he did everything. And he did a fantastic job, and it really makes us stand out on the shelves, and the cans pop now.
Sure
They're really great. And the designs on all of our core cans are really cool because, like, if you have the Pilsner, the Bohemian Style Pilsner, all of those core cans, the mountains on them are views from the brewery.
Oh.
So you can stand on property and see each view that's on the core can.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
In relation to those cans, something that I've heard from listeners who have had a chance to buy a couple cases, a couple different packs of things of like the primary colors, like this easily distinguishable. It looks great on a shelf. We're friends with a lot of local store owners too, that like those stand out. You mentioned they stand out on the shelf because they're just easy to find. There's not a whole lot of intricate design, but the design is so well chosen that like, oh, there it is. I can see it. Here's a green can. Here's a gold brown can. Here's a blue can. It's easy to see.
Definitely, yeah. And similar to our recipes, we don't have a lot of frills on our can design. We make our can design look great, and it's not excessive, but it's awesome to look at,
If it's the whole style of the brewery philosophy as a whole, it's perfect.
Totally.
So when we went to the GABF a couple years ago, in one of the breakout sessions we had, and actually part of the media brunch that we did, one of the hot button topics for discussion was that across the brewing industry, site sales are down. So like can consumption is up, but site sales are down. We talked to a few brewers about, what are they doing to kind of combat that, this, bringing people more, not only bringing it home, but bringing people to locations, bringing people to the brewery. So are you guys doing anything to not only distribute cans, but to also distribute kegs to get people to try the beer in restaurants, bars, or other establishments?
Sure, yeah. So we, for distribution, we have 50-50 on-prem and off-prem accounts, and we have many more sales team members than a lot of our competitor breweries. So we have sales lager ambassadors in every market that we're in, and they work with their distributors and with each restaurant, on-prem and off-prem locations, to set up cool events. Like they'll do a Sound of Music movie showing or something with a beer. They do events with like animal shelters, stuff like that. So having those lager ambassadors in different states to really focus on that one market and make us stand out is super helpful, rather than having just one sales team member controlling all of the markets. So that's really helpful. I think right now, where some breweries might be going down, we're kind of going up, and I think that's I think that's a part of the trends in what people want out of a beer right now. I find that people are wanting lagers more. And so we're kind of trending right now, so that helps. As far as our flagship location in Stowe, Vermont, we're in, a tourist destination. We have ski season and mountain biking, and we have the hotel. So we are kind of always busy because of everything that's going around us in the Stowe area and in the Vermont area in general, whether it's leaf peeping or skiing at, the Vail resorts up here. We always are slammed. Like, depending on the day, there's a line at the door to get into the brewery. So yeah, the tourism in Vermont is definitely helpful for us. And we are, a tourist destination to some degree with the hotel and with our story, with the Sound of Music and the Von Trapps. People come from all over to visit us, so that's super helpful. But I really credit a lot of our success in sales across our markets to each individual lager ambassador. They really run their markets and they're doing a great job.
A lager ambassador? Is that what you said? Lager ambassador?
Yeah, that's what we call them. Yep. They're awesome.
Second dream job.
Yeah.
Product manager, quality
lager ambassador.
Lager ambassador. Okay. Start building up my resume.
So as we wrap up here, we'd like to know for each of you, Jack, we can start with you. What excites you about the future of Von Trapp Brewing?
I think what I'm really looking forward to is that more people are kind of getting excited about traditional beer styles. And, we've been doing this for over a decade now, coming on 15 years. And I think people are coming around to the fact that, simplicity is a beautiful thing. Drinkability is what we're all kind of after. And that was one thing that my brewing professors really drilled into us, that drinkability is not just a marketing slogan, but it's what people want when they experience your product. They want to come back to it. They want to enjoy it. They don't want to have their palates bursted with flavor and alcohol and all these other things. And, if you come to hang out with us after shift on any given day, we're hanging out drinking Hellas, and more people are turning to pale lager and, lagers like Vienna, Dunkel, all of these different type of Pilsners, and they're getting excited about it. And yeah, we just want to keep leading that charge and keep showing people what good beer looks and tastes like, and yeah, just bringing people into the fold.
I heard 15 going on 16 that whole time.
Emily,
you're right there.
Emily, what about you? What excites you most about the future of Von Trapp?
I'm really excited about our growing footprint. I mean, we're all the way down to Florida, all the way across to Oregon. So that's really awesome to get more and more people across the country into Von Trapp. And especially with this new rebrand, acquiring sort of a younger customer base, the new beer drinkers, and educating them about, I don't want to say what good beer is, but kind of.
You can say that.
We'll say it for you.
Okay. Educating them on, our beers and beer styles in general. I think that sort of beer education has gotten lost in the mix to some degree in marketing, and having Jack on here is really awesome because he's, the beer genius, and he's able to help me discuss beer styles and all of that heavy beer education in a sociable, snackable way to new customer markets.
Incredible.
Have you guys had our Oktoberfest beer in a while?
We didn't have it this year.
No, we didn't have it this year.
Should send you some.
We won't say no.
That's our best-selling seasonal brand. So once it comes out,
yeah, we wouldn't say no, and we definitely
that's our favorite style, Oktoberfest.
Yeah, it's hard to beat. It really is. Every year we do an Oktoberfest and or fall beer episode.
Yeah.
Sometimes it ranges from 6 Oktoberfest to, I think, was it 2 years ago? We did 12 different beers in an episode.
Yeah.
That went off the rails really quick. Yeah, we definitely enjoy that. That'd be good.
Keep drinking Dunkel. You guys are helping keeping that brand alive. We've put it on the chopping block a few times, and it's just selling enough to where we're like, you know what, we want to keep making this for Florida and Tennessee and for us too. I love that beer.
Jack, I thought we were friends. You just said chopping block?
Exactly. Yeah.
That's the sales team.
Yes.
Not Jack.
We're gonna do our part. Don't you worry about it.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, now that I hear that, my wife's not gonna be happy with me, but I'm gonna go buy a lot. His entire fridge is just Dunkel. Well,
I'm gonna commit.
Well, Emily and Jack, we are honored that you took time to speak with us, and we know that the Dreppenstone listeners are excited for Von Trapp, and we know that there are a lot of Dreppenstone listeners that just love you guys and love the beer and can't wait to see what the future holds for Von Trapp Brewing.
Thank you for meeting with us. This is awesome.
Thanks so much, you guys. Appreciate it.
Kyle, what an amazing opportunity.
Yeah, that was great.
Like, seriously. I know that, like, some people would say, like, well, you guys are just blowing smoke because you love Von Trapp, and that's exactly what we're doing.
Yeah.
I don't understand why you think it's anything different.
Yeah, call me the Marlboro Man. I got that smoke going.
That's correct.
Bringing all the smoke.
That's great. Well, I'm the one who sounds like the Marlboro Man right now.
You do.
I've got a bit of a cold. I'm sure everyone at some point in the episode's like, is Nick okay? What I love about conversations like we just had with Jack and Emily is that it expands our horizons and gives us opportunities to talk to some just really cool people, down to earth people who understand their craft and who want to see their product do well and know, especially like they know that they have a great product. And I love that their confidence is matched by a product that is just fantastic.
Yeah, and it's wonderful to hear the philosophy, and it all makes so much sense. But like that was so cool hearing about finding the spring and acquiring the land. Like, I mean, like, so cool.
It really truly is. And like the history of not only like the Von Trapps as what we know them, the Von Trapps,
right.
The Von Trapps in terms of now what they've expanded business wise and what they're trying to do, not only in the world of brewing, but also just for the tourist areas of Vermont.
Yeah.
And that, like, yes, you can have the singing Von Trapp experience, but there's so much more to that.
Yeah, for sure.
And like you just said, the history is so cool to me.
Agreed. And what a tasting experience to have Jack be able to walk us through all of these, and each one's just an absolute banger. Of the four, what would you say like you were most surprised by?
Well, can we do something real quick?
What's that?
Can we run through them real quick again? Because like in the midst of that, like it's just an onslaught of like going through those.
Oh yeah,
and, like,
for sure.
I'm so giddy talking to Jack and Emily that like, I can't process the new beers that we've had. Like we
only had one of them before, right? The Bohemian Pils.
Yeah, we've had the Bohemian before. So like, I think we should run through them again.
Okay.
You want to?
Yeah.
All right, Kyle, now that we've run through our 4 beers again, just to recap real quick.
Yeah.
For posterity's sake.
Yeah.
That's the Czech Style Pale Lager.
Yep.
Then we moved to the Bavarian Style Pils.
Yep.
Then we went on over to the Bohemian Style Lager. Then we wrapped up with the West Coast Style Pils.
Yep.
Of those 4 beers, Kyle,
Yep.
what are your overall thoughts?
It's such an incredible variety.
Yeah.
Within a similar style.
Exactly.
Like that I said it during the interview, but like that's like what's so great about this pack, if you're able to get your hands on it, is to have so many different things within the same kind of style of beer, but they're all so unique and so different, and each has such a unique stance within the style.
Yeah.
And they're all just 10 out of 10. They're just so good.
Yeah, and I'm sitting here as we've gone through them again, thinking back to what Jack was talking about as we were discussing this, thinking about, just the perspective as a whole. And there is not a one of them that is not just a killer beer.
Like that's one where you could just blindfold yourself in the fridge at night.
Sure.
Like I just need to grab one.
Yeah.
You're going to be okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, fantastic. I think for me, though, I hesitate to rank them because I don't think that's the right move. But if I wasn't blinding in the fridge,
yeah,
and you were to say, hey, I've got the Pilsner pack from Von Trapp, which one would you like? I think I'm going to say the Czech Style Pale Lager, the first one we did.
Yeah.
And for me, it's because it is easy drinking. I mean, it's at 4 or 5. It has a ton of flavor, but it's nothing that's like, it's not challenging. It is comforting. It's delicious. It would go with just about any meal.
Yep.
It's going to accentuate any meal, and it's a great all-arounder. And like, that's just where I am in my beer journey. Right. I just want a great all-arounder.
Yep.
What about you?
It's number 1 for a reason.
Yeah.
I think it would probably be the Bohemian Style Lager for me.
Yeah? What is that?
The finish on that one for me,
Yeah.
where it leaves my palate, and then like just the kind of the flavors that are left over are just dream worthy.
Dream worthy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
Dream worthy.
Yeah. Puts me in my happy place.
Ooh.
It's just good. They're all so good.
They're all so good.
Yeah.
That's one thing that, again, we've said it before. It's just so difficult to achieve as a brewery. You know, I feel like a lot of breweries have their core lineup, and then like the rest of the stuff is just, it's either okay or it's phenomenal, but yeah, we don't do it all the time. But when you've got a brewery who knows what they're doing, who is confident in what they're doing, and as Jack mentioned, is willing to do the research and like to make batches and figure out what works and what doesn't work and what style, you know, or what does this malt do? What does this profile of hops do? Like that is where it really shines. And I can't say it enough. Fantastic beer.
Say it one more time.
Fantastic beer.
There it is. Yep.
Let me do it one more time.
If you got it in you.
I'm going to dig deep. Nah, I don't have to dig that far. Fantastic beer.
It is.
Well, you got anything else?
No, I think it's got it covered.
You know what we do have? We've got a table full of swag. Is what we do.
Yeah.
Man.
The care package they sent along was
We didn't even talk about that. in the
very
episode.
much appreciated.
Yeah, in the interview at all. Like we've got a couple of different koozies. We've got some chapsticks, some glasses.
Stickers, buttons, pins. It's all available.
Oh my.
Yeah.
If Von Trapp is not distributing in your area, you need to reach out to them and ask them why not. Because we need it now.
Right.
All around. Great people, great beer.
Go to your local libation
Station.
establishment,
Libation station.
and let them know, hey, I need this stuff, and like, what do we got to do to get it here?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Because it is worth the effort.
Absolutely it is. And I don't say that lightly.
I say it heavily.
Well, we'd love to know, what do you think about the Von Trapp Brewing lineup as a whole?
Yeah, what's been your Von Trapp experience? Have you been up to Stowe and seen the horrible working conditions that they have to put up with up there? It's a tough locale. You know, to have to wake up and go there.
It's gorgeous.
It's
You're playing coy. You're playing coy.
Absolutely beautiful.
It's gorgeous up there.
What a dream to wake up in those mountains.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, let us know.
Yeah, are they distributing to your area? And if they're not distributing to your area, what are you going to do about it?
Yeah, what hell are you going to raise
Correct.
to make sure it gets to your area?
Now, let me try that again. Hellis.
Hellis are you going to
There
raise?
it is. There it is. Yeah. Well, you can get in touch with us through email. It's drepandstone@gmail.com. You can also get in touch with us through social media.
DREP and Stone. It's everywhere that you like to socialize your media. We're socializing some there also.
Come find one of our amazing pairing videos.
Yeah.
Because we're doing those, and we love to do them.
Yeah, they're a good time.
Yeah.
Good time.
Absolutely. We'd love it if you support the podcast. You can do so by rating Drep and Stone, whatever it is. You find great podcasts like this one. You can tell someone about the podcast, just any old person or any young person for that matter.
Whew, I was gonna say.
And finally, we'd love it if you support the podcast financially through our Patreon page. It's patreon.com/Drep and Stone.
Hey, Grandpappy. I got you a podcast to listen to.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy.
May your glass overflow.
And your Hellas never show. Cheers, buddy.
Cheers.